In the Donetsk region, it is especially difficult as heavy fighting continues, the Mediazona Database reports. And most recently, the Russian military says 93 of its soldiers have been killed in a major assault on Bakhmut. In the north, Ukraine is seeking to exploit the recent success of the Kharkiv offensive, with methodical advances in the triangular area bounded by Kreminna to the south, Svatove to the north, and Starobilsk to the east. Both attacks featured trench and urban warfare, artillery duels, very close quarters combat between infantry and tanks, and ranged attacks on supplies and base locations. The fight in the north, fought by Ukraine, is very different. The Kreminna-Svatove-Starobilsk region is important for its transportation hub. In addition, dramatic fighting resumed on Soledar with Wagner's group. Wagner's mercenaries had been trying to break through the Ukrainian defenses on Soledar since at least August. Even Wagner, with storm tactics regardless of cost, found it difficult to achieve any major success in a frontal assault on heavily fortified Ukrainian positions. The Russian attempts to pinpoint the city from the north and south were too long and too painful. Over the past 3 months, Wagner's troops managed to gain certain gains south of Bakhmut, particularly in the town of Kreminna, which was held until the end of December. For most of the fighting, Russian advances in the area managed only a few dozen or a few hundred yards a day. It took the Russians almost 3 months to advance about 4 kilometers and capture Kreminna, a village south of Bakhmut, about 12 kilometers from the T-0504 highway. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian military again killed 5 Russian soldiers who tried to pass through the Ukrainian stronghold near Bakhmut. In order to stop the maneuvers of the Russian occupying forces, our fighters dragged the invaders into the crossfire and called for support. The enemy must refuse to cross the line and try to capture the positions of the border units. Border guards, as part of units of mortar and artillery gunners of the armed forces of Ukraine, opened fire on the invaders. The line of defense was maintained. The Ukrainian troops thwarted the invaders' attempt to break through, informed the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine. As noted, the battle lasted about 2 hours, and the invaders lost 12 people in the unsuccessful assault, 5 killed and 7 wounded. Previously, it was reported that the Ukrainian Defense Forces continued to defend Soledar, so it could not be considered Russian. The enemy was currently concentrating most of its efforts towards Bakhmut. Over the past day, the occupiers carry out 34 attacks in the Donetsk region, hitting 12 settlements and wounding civilians. The Donetsk region suffered more than 30 enemy attacks. The police documented war crimes. Over the past few days, the Russians attacked 12 settlements and injured civilians, the Donetsk Region National Police Department said. The invaders opened fire from aircraft, Grad LRS, artillery, tanks, and mortars. A total of 34 Russian raids were recorded. 13 civilian objects were destroyed or damaged, 11 private homes, an administrative building, and an outbuilding. The enemy launched an airstrike on the village of Vremivka. Avdiivka peeled most intensively, 14 times. In both cases, no casualties were reported. As reported, the Donetsk region is under constant Russian attack and has problems with the supply of electricity, heat, and water. There may have been logic to Russia's focus on capturing Bakhmut. By early summer, he had captured the nearby towns of Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. Bakhmut was intended to be next, in the hope that Russian troops would then march towards Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. But that was before Ukraine launched surprise counteroffensives in the east and south. Russian troops had been pushed back further north. The cities of Kramatorsk and Sloviansk were no longer within range of the Russian artillery, as they had been in July. Russia has been largely forced to change from an offensive to a defensive army.